Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you this morning, doing the December TV boxing schedule. So, these are all the fights coming up in the month of December that are going to be shown on some kind of network, one way or the other. It's actually going to be a pretty damn busy month, so you guys really going to want to check it out. Every weekend has fights going on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen on those weekends. So, we're going to kick it off with this Saturday, next Saturday. I'm sorry. Today's Friday, the 30th of November. We have, today's the 29th. Tomorrow's the 30th. I'm doing this one now because just next week going all the way in, I just want you guys to have the December schedule way in advance. So let's start getting into it. We start with Saturday, December 7th. We actually have two cards on that day. We'll go from lesser to bigger. And actually neither one is bad at all. They're both good cards. The first one is a triple header taking place on Showtime. We'll start with the undercard. We got Ryosuke Iwasa taking on Marlon Tapales. Now Iwasa is a former champ at 122. He's taking on Tapales, who's a former champion at 118. Iwasa is trying to, this is going to be for the IBF interim super bantamweight title, as Iwasa is waiting around to get his title shot. He became mandatory earlier in the year. He's taking on Tapales. Should be a pretty good matchup between two little guys that like to throw a lot of punches. That's going to open the show, and that should be good. Now the co-feature, a middleweight fight for an interim middleweight title. The interim WBA middleweight championship's on the line. Chris Eubank Jr., former world title challenger. He's coming back down to 160. He's taking on former world title challenger Matt Korobov. Good middleweight fight right here between two top 10 guys. Eubank, I have him right at number 5 right now. I think he's actually number 6 for me. But Eubank is a top 10 guy. Korobov's in the top 10 as well. So good matchup right here at middleweight for an interim title. Winner should get something bigger, possibly a title shot against Charlo, so we'll see. And then in the main event, speaking of Charlo, it's undefeated Jermall Charlo defending his WBC title against Dennis Hogan, former world title challenger. Charlo trying to get a decent name on his list. Hogan fought Jaime Munguia earlier this year for the title at 154. He's moving up to 160. This is going to be an interesting battle right here. I'm really looking forward to it. Good card right here, guys. You really don't want to miss this one. A lot of action, good stuff going on. Then over on DAZN, going to be competing probably around the same time, sadly, is a really good card on DAZN. All heavyweights in this one. We'll start off with the undercard. This one just got announced. Top contender Dillian White is returning to action his second time this year. He's taking on former world title challenger Mariusz Wach. Good matchup right here, as White's still waiting to get cleared by the United Kingdom doping agencies and stuff like that for what happened in the last fight. But White's returning. Mariusz Wach, not a complete pushover. He's been in there 4 world titles before. So White looking to stay busy. The co-feature, Alexander Povetkin, former world champion. I currently have him, I believe, 8th or 9th at heavyweight right now. And he's at almost 40 years old, trying to get himself back in the mix for a world title or a big fight, as he takes on Michael Hunter, former Olympian. Michael Hunter's only loss is to Alexander Usyk a few years ago in a title fight. So this should be a good one right here. Really looking forward to that as a co-feature. And then the main event, you can't miss this one, guys. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. Rematch for the Unified Heavyweight Championship from their fight back in June. Big pop. Sorry, guys. Sorry, dropped my phone. This is a good fight right here. A really good rematch. Really looking forward to it. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is the rematch of the year. This is one of the biggest fights of the year for the heavyweight title. Really gonna be a big story. Either way it goes, this is the biggest fight of December as well. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling. We're gonna go to the next card, which is taking place on, actually there's a third card on Saturday, December 7th. I forgot about it. On ESPN Plus, you got Emmanuel Navarrete the WBO Super Bantamweight World Champion. That's 122 pounds. He's staying busy. He's fighting for his 4th time this year when he takes on little-known Francisco Horta. That's going to be on ESPN Plus that day. So just in case those 2 cards weren't enough, there's a fight on ESPN Plus too. So make sure you're checking that out. Now we're going to go a week later on Saturday, December 14th. We only got 1 card that day, but it's going to be a good one. 2 fights really worth talking about. If you really want to watch the 3rd fight, Michael Conlan, undefeated Irish fighter. They've been bringing him up for a few years now. He doesn't seem to be stepping up the competition, but they're still bringing him up. Anyways, he's the first fight on the card. I don't really care about his fight because he's fighting a bunch of nobodies for years now, so it doesn't do anything for me. But the co-feature is going to be good, and could steal the show. You got Richard Comey defending the IBF lightweight championship. That's 135 against undefeated Teofimo Lopez. This is a great matchup right here. 2 top 10 guys. Comey's trying to get himself right there. He's actually number 3 right now for me. He's trying to keep himself moving up the lightweight chain against the undefeated and very talented Lopez. Is he ready for a title fight? We're going to see if he's ready for Comey. That's a really good matchup that night. Then in the main event, you got pound for pound, a guy threatening for the top pound for pound, undefeated Terrence Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion, always entertaining, taking on, I'm going to fuck up this guy's name, but they call him the Meme Machine, but his name is Egidijus Kavaliauskas. So, again, they call this guy the Meme Machine. He's the #1 contender for Crawford's title right now. So, Crawford staying busy, should be a decent fight right there, but it's going to be a good card. Crawford is really good, and that lightweight title fight on the undercard is basically a main event any other night. That's a really good card right there on ESPN on December 14th. Now we're going to go 6 days later on Friday, December 20th on DAZN. Really only the main events we're talking about right now. Actually, I think Maurice Hooker is coming back on the undercard and taking on some unknown guy at a catchweight of 144. Hooker's returning to, following his loss to Jose Ramirez when he lost his title in the unification bout. Still should be a really good match, though. I'm really looking forward to Hooker getting back in action. He's a really good and talented fighter. The main event, though, should be a good one. As it stands right now, Daniel Jacobs moving up to 168 super middleweight for his first time, taking on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the former middleweight champion of the world. Right now, Chavez is technically suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They're fighting in Arizona, though, in Phoenix, Arizona. But Phoenix could uphold the suspension. If that happens, they're talking about former world title challenger Gabriel Rosado being a backup plan to face Danny Jacobs. So we'll see what happens. But an interesting matchup, and I think it's a good first fight and a good name for Jacobs as he fills out 168, whether it's against Rosado or Chavez Jr. But Chavez Jr. obviously the bigger name, so not a bad matchup. Check that out. That's Friday, December 20th on DAZN. Now, on December 21st, you got a doubleheader on Fox. You got on the undercard, Guillermo Rigondeaux is actually dropping down to 118 pounds. That's bantamweight, and he's going to be taking on little-known Liborio Solis. They're fighting for the vacant WBA regular bantamweight championship. Rigondeaux is floating between 118, 122. He's even willing to go up to 126 if the fight's big enough. He's fought twice this year. Al Heyman and the PBC's keeping him busy, so can't knock that as he goes for a world title in the second weight class. So that's the undercard. Then in the main event, a huge rematch, grudge match right here. You got Tony Harrison defending the WBC super welterweight title. That's 154 pounds against the guy he took it from, Jermell Charlo. Harrison beat Charlo exactly 1 year to the day of this fight, pretty much exactly 1 year. In 2018, he got a controversial, very close unanimous decision over the then undefeated Charlo. Rematch, they've been waiting all year to sign the rematch. Can't wait to see it. Harrison's been out of the ring since that win with injuries. Charlo fought back in June, got a quick knockout win. This is going to be an interesting and very good rematch. Can't wait to see it. That's on Saturday, December 21st on Fox. Make sure you check that one out. Then on Monday, December 23rd, from Japan, we got a middleweight title fight. Ryota Murata, who's the Japanese WBA champion, he just recently regained that title. He's a former Olympic gold medalist. He's a pretty solid fighter. He's taking on Stephen Butler of Canada. This is an optional defense, but they're going to show this fight on ESPN Plus. So we're checking out, because Murata was very close to getting a Triple G fight last year, and he's right there at middleweight, which is one of the best divisions in boxing. So check him out. He's a pretty solid fighter. That's Monday, December 23rd on ESPN Plus. The undercard's not worth talking about. Nobody on there we're talking about. Then the last card of the year takes place Saturday, December 28th. There might be a third fight on this card. I haven't really heard anything, but there could be a good third fight on this card. But the co-feature should be really good. It's a light heavyweight interim title fight. You got Jean Pascal, former light heavyweight world champion, defending the interim belt that he upset Marcus Brown for back in August, against former 2-division world champion Badou Jack, who is returning after his decision loss to Marcus Brown back in January. So these guys have faced a common opponent this year, and it's 2 top 10 guys going at it at light heavyweight. And light heavyweight's a great division right now. It really is. And you should really check it out. So yeah, that's going to be a very good co-feature. But the main event, undefeated Gervonta Davis, moving up to 135, challenging for the vacant WBA regular lightweight title when he takes on former unified featherweight champion Yuriorkis Gamboa. Gamboa always makes for an entertaining fight, and this guy is going to make for Gervonta Davis is just one of the new stars in boxing. He is very good. He's very strong. We're going to see how well he carries that power up to 135 against Gamboa. Good matchup right here. Should be a pretty decent fight for as long as it lasts. And that Saturday, December 28th, that's going to be on Showtime. So a stacked month, guys. PBC is tearing it up this month. And you got some other good matchups you just can't miss. Every weekend's going to have good, solid action. And there's a couple during the week that you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss Murata. And, Murata on December 23rd. You don't want to miss Danny Jacobs on Friday, December 20th. So make sure you're checking it out, guys. Should be a good month of boxing. All right, that's it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.